Hello everyone, it's me, Sirenu-Eve Art. I did a poll over the weekend on what people would like to see video wise, and the one with the most votes was the Neocolor 50th anniversary Lush set I got gifted at Christmas to see the swatches and do a little painting with those. And I also thought, because I've used them an absolute bunch, the Lush set, I am in love with these colours. I've used them loads in backgrounds in a lot of my sketchbooks, so I thought I'd show some of the paintings I've already done with these. So when I open these, obviously because I've already been using them since I've gotten them from Christmas, some of them are like, they don't look pristine or anything like that, I do apologise. But this one got the most votes, so I will show these. I thought just to bulk up the video a little bit, depending how long that takes. I also, a while back, got myself the little 10 pack of kind of primary colours, and I got myself them ones of the Neocolor 2s. That's why I ended up asking for the 50th anniversary ones, because I know a lot of people were a bit miffed because you get, I think, 2 new colours in each of the 50th anniversary packs, but obviously the Neocolor 2s have been out for quite a long time, I think, or at least a while, and a lot of people obviously have a lot of colours, so that's why a lot of people don't want to obviously spend their money on getting the 50th anniversary just for 2 new ones when they've already got probably some out of the set. But I've only got the little 10 pack primary colour one, so 10 pack, sorry, yes, the 10 primary Neo colours. So I asked for the Lush set because I was like, well, I don't have any of them, so at least I won't be re-swatching shades I've already got. But just to bulk the video up, I thought I'd also show the primary colour ones and just swatch them and blend them, and just so you can compare the two from just the standard to the 50th anniversary set. But yes, so this one won the vote, so I shall be showing you guys the 50th anniversary Caran Neo colours. This is the Lush set. This is the packaging it comes in. I love the leaves and everything. I'm such a sucker for green, so these are my kind of thing. And I'm just going to show you some swatches, some sketches that I've done with them, backgrounds, and I'll also show the water soluble aspect, and also the just using them as a kind of pastel rather than using the water soluble aspect to them. 50 years of Neocolor 2 Aquarelle Special Edition, 10 water soluble wax pastels, including 3 exclusive colours. Oh, so you get 3 new ones. Sorry, I didn't realise. I thought it was 2 for some reason. I don't know why I've got 2 in my head. Oh right, they put little stars next to the new ones. So 154, 681 and 246 must be the new colours, because they're, I don't know whether it'll focus, but there's little stars next to 3 of them, so I'm assuming that's the new colours. As you can see, you can tell which ones I've used a lot already. They're the colours that you get. You get a nice purpley colour, a more dark blue, a lighter blue, you get some turquoisey colours, some nice greens, really nice. I will tell you the names of them now, just so that's kind of out the way and over and done with. So the purple that you get is called, it is number 110, and it is lilac. So I don't believe this one is a light fat, I don't believe this is a new colour. So you get lilac. 159, which is Prussian blue. I love this. This one has been a favourite. This and the purple together are just so nice. It makes a lovely midnight kind of sky scene. And then you get 154, which is apparently a new one, which is Skagen blue. I hope I'm saying that right. Is it Skagen? I would say Skagen blue, but I might be wrong about that. It's this lovely dusty sky blue kind of colour. And then you've got 201. Is that a new one? This is not a new one. And this is called Viennese green. This kind of aquary tealy green. And then this number is 681, which is a new one as well. I kind of pronounce this, it's either cryophrase green or cryopraise green, but I think it's cryophrase. Oh god, sorry. This is a new one, another really aquamarine kind of turquoisey colour. I've been really loving this set. I've used them loads so far. They don't look at, some of them look more worse for wear than others. And then this one is 229, which is not a new one, and it is dark green. Really lovely, nice pine tree kind of colour. And then we have 220. I keep looking at this just to make sure that it's not a new one I'm talking about, and this is grass green, a very vivid grass kind of colour, very like May green, spring kind of green, very bright and vibrant. And then we have 246, which is also a new one, and this is a Cuba green. It's either a Cuba green or Acuba green, I don't know the correct pronunciation for that. And then we've got 245, this is olive, oh sorry, this is light olive 40%. Once again, a nice leafy spring summer green. This one swatches more like a yellow in all honesty, if I'm being truthful, but it is called Chinese green and it is 730. It looks yellow on screen, but in person it looks like limey, so I expected like a bit of like a green undertone to it, and with the name being Chinese green, but it swatches quite yellow. Still beautiful though, easy to use, really nice to use and lovely. And that is all the names. I hope I haven't butchered the pronunciations. I know I butchered the pronunciations in my Christmas haul as well. And that is the colours you get. You can see I've used loads of Peruvian blue. I've went in with quite a lot of Skagen blue. I've also used the greens quite a lot. But yeah, these three here have been, as you can see from the swatches, have been absolutely butchered loads, and this one. I've went in loads with them. But that is the Lush set of the Neocolors. So without further ado, let's get into doing some swatches of these, and I will write the names down and I will tell you which ones are my favourites and which ones I think swatch best and all that kind of lovely stuff. And I will also show you some of my sketchbook pages. This is on some cotton watercolour paper. I did swatches a while back in the Sea Whites, which is a mixed media, so I'll show you the swatches I did on that as well in my Christmas haul, just because you'll be able to see them as a pastel a bit better. A cold pressed watercolour paper, it makes it look gappy, where on a normal piece of paper it'll look a bit better. So you have, that is lilac, Prussian blue, Skagen blue, Viennese green, Cryophrase green, dark green, grass green, a Cuba green, light olive 40% and Chinese green. And then that is their water soluble aspect. These got a bit mixed together as unfortunately I underestimated how much I was swatching. So that is lilac with its water soluble aspect. That is Prussian blue with water, Skagen blue with water, Viennese green with water, Cryophrase with green with water, dark green with water, grass green, Cuba green, light olive 40% and Chinese green. As you can see, they're really pigmented. Cryophrase green, which I believe is one of the new ones, I think, is a little or more on the translucent side. It gives more of a watercolour vibe, where the others could be mistaken a little bit gouache. The pigment's a bit more opaque and all the rest of them compared to Cryophrase green. It's a little bit on the transparent side, and I still did put quite a bit of the pastel down as well. My favourites, it's such a hard one. I love Prussian blue and Skagen blue, they're beautiful. I like them all, and I'm such a sucker for green, so I like all the green, so I'm just biased. This one was a little contaminated with some of the water, but it gives more of a yellow effect rather than a green, and especially in its pastel form without any water, it definitely comes across like a bold, nice lemon yellow. But yeah, absolutely beautiful. Once again, a little bit of pigment is left in the gaps on the cold pressed paper. Cold pressed paper has this kind of texture to it, so anything like pencils or anything chalky, pastels, they always get lodged in the gaps. On the sea whites paper, I'll show you the swatches that I did on that. You don't really get any of that effect where there's gaps and stuff, so I promise that's just the paper I'm using. It's not the pastel's fault in a way. This is the book I usually do all my swatches in, and I'll show you now the Lush set that I did. So that was how I swatched them on this mixed media paper. These are the same colours. That is on cotton watercolour paper. I always find cold pressed paper, for all it gives texture, it is really good for like them water or rock scenes, because with it leaving texture in the paint, I feel like it adds quite good effect. And then sea whites is, you can use water on sea whites, but it is flat paper. It has no texture to the paper as it is a mixed media. So that was all the swatches in the pastel form. Once again, Prussian blue, lilac, dark green, Skagen blue, cryophrase green, Viennese green, grass green, Acuba green, light olive 40%, and Chinese green. And then that is the water soluble aspect to them. You can see obviously on this is just the paper's texture coming through. When you swatch them just as normal on a normal piece of paper, there's not really much texture, especially when you blend them out. Once again, cryophrase green though is more watercolour, like it reminds me more of watercolour. It is more translucent out of all the colours. Viennese green as well on mixed media paper is a little bit more translucent, where the other ones like your grass greens, Acuba green, Chinese yellow, especially Prussian blue and Skagen blue, they're very opaque colours. Dark green as well. Lilac depends as well on the paper. It's very bold on the watercolour paper. I feel like it's more vibrant, where on the mixed media paper it is a little bit more translucent. So as you can see, it really does just depend sometimes when with any type of art material, it really just depends sometimes on what type of paper you're using, and they will give different effects. So watercolour paper, with it being a professional watercolour paper, obviously for the water soluble aspect it gives more vibrancy and the opacity is much higher. But then if you're using them as a pastel, the texture of the paper obviously causes that kind of buckling, kind of texture gappy effect. Whereas on more of a standard paper slash mixed media paper, where it's flatter, you have no texture per se, but the opacity is a bit less, so your colours come across a little bit more like watercolours, a little bit more translucent. But then if you're using them as a pastel, like a wax pastel, the opacity is actually probably higher, and obviously you don't get any of that texture gaps. If you're wanting to use the pastel, I would definitely recommend just a standard type of paper, or anything that's hot pressed where it's flat and there's no texture to it. If you're wanting more of a watercolour effect, the water soluble aspect's fine on a flatter surface paper as well. Once again though, if you are really going for pigment and you're going to be using the water soluble aspect, I would say actual watercolour paper gives the most vibrancy. So yeah, that is the swatches of those on normal mixed media paper, and then finally on watercolour paper. Neocolor 50th anniversary set, Lush set, is a positive one. I find swatching wise are really easy to use, and they are just soft enough for a nice simple coverage with a slight roughness that allows some of the wax pastel texture to come through. Across different types of papers, they offer a nice range of vibrancy and opacity as well. But having said that, obviously as you can see on the swatches yourself, some of the colours are more opaque than others, such as with the Cryopraise Green being more translucent than the rest of the set. I would say it gives more of a watercolour vibe. Even when you add a bit more on, the opacity kind of stays more of a light wash of the colour, and that is one of the new shades in the Lush set. The most pigmented I definitely would say was the Skagen Blue, Grass Green and Perusian Blue. Cuba Green as well was another good one to mention, but in all honesty I'm having to really nitpick here. In terms of all of them by the Cryopraise Green, they're all pretty opaque and vibrant. I'd say they're pretty much on the same level as each other, and basically the opacity was pretty vibrant across the board. Blending was nice and smooth and easy. It required very minimal water to get the blends nice. Once you added some colours like the lilacs and the Perusian Blue, there was no real muddiness that kind of occurred that you sometimes get when you mix certain colours together, especially if they're on opposite ends of the colour wheel. I just kind of found they all blended together really nicely. I did blend the light olive green and the Cryopraise Green, and they give like a nice effect together. They almost like neutralise each other out and kind of give this light blue kind of ocean colour wash, which will probably be really nice for some sea scenes. But overall all the colours look nice together. I really wouldn't be able to choose which colours look best together. I think they all complemented each other really nice, especially in this set personally. But like I say, I am also really biased when it comes to any kind of greens and aquary colours. I love those kinds of shades myself personally. Overall, I've been loving using these different Neocolors, and I've been really loving using this set for a lot of background, especially in my sketchbooks, the Royal Talons and Sea Whites both included. I've done so many different backgrounds, which you will see at the end of this video, where I have little bits of my sketchbooks that I'll show you different pages that I've been doing with the Neocolor Lush set. And overall I've been really using the water soluble aspect to them the most. I haven't really done much in terms of using them as just a wax pastel. I'm not one of those people that use pastels I've been getting into using oil pastels at the moment, but in terms of using them as a wax pastel, I wouldn't really be too sure on what to do with them. Might try to draw some leaves and see how that goes, but I've definitely used the water soluble aspect to the Neocolors the most. And with them blending this nice with water, how can you resist to use that part of the wax pastel? My only negative that I would really say is with Cryopraise being one of the new colours, obviously the opacity is not as opaque as the rest, and I would personally like it a bit more opaque, or even if it was just a bit more vibrant once you added water a bit like the other colours are, but that's if I have to really nitpick. And I know depending on what pigments you use in certain colours, some colours just aren't as opaque as others anyway, so I don't know if that's something to do with it. Secondly, for all you get 3 new colours in the Lush set and all the 50th limited edition sets from Caran d'Ache, I completely understand if other artists out there have most of the Neocolors. I can completely understand why people wouldn't want to get the limited edition sets just for 3 new colours, especially with the Lush set. Obviously one of the newer colours is not the most opaque, so in terms of value for money, I think the Lush set and Jackson's art is about £24.50, and I think the single colours of the Caran d'Ache, bar the limited edition colours that you get, the 3 new ones, I think are around the £2.10 mark if I remember that correctly. So if you don't want any of the new colours and you just wanted the Neocolors, you just wanted the colours they already have out, I think you can get the singles for a bit cheaper on Jackson's art, so the sets probably wouldn't be more cost effective. But if you wanted the limited edition colours and you don't have any of the other colours either, then I do find the Lush set probably is good value for money. And there'd probably be only 2 negatives. Once again, I don't know what postage is for different people, and I don't know how much the postage is on Jackson's art, so it really just depends in terms of pricing. But there would probably be, if I really had to push, my only 2 negatives about the situation. And it just really depends on the person, depends what colours you have, and depends if you even like the new shades. If you don't, then it's probably cheaper just getting them singular and just getting the colours that you like. But the limited edition shades obviously I know aren't you can't buy them singularly. They could maybe do that later down the line, but then I guess defeats the purpose of having a limited edition pack, so I have no idea what could be done in that situation. But yeah, I've really been loving these, and I've just found them really nice to use, and I've been using them an absolute bunch, as you can see. I also did end up breaking my Chinese green in this Lush set during this video. You probably saw me show it quickly. I ended up snapping it in half, so I clearly was being too heavy-handed. But yeah, overall I'm really happy with this set, and I just really love the colours. I've been looking at some of the darker, I can't remember what that set's called, but it's got more darker like monochrome colours in, some dark blues and purples, and I think there's a grey in it, and I really like the portrait set as well, so I've been keeping my eyes out for those as well. So guys, that is the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. If you have managed to watch the whole video and you've made it this far till the end, feel free to comment a little green heart down below to kind of match with the Lush set colours, and just to let me know that you were able to watch the video and deal with all my yabbering and rambling on, as I'm sure I've probably talked everybody's ears off. Once again though, I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much for being here. If you have enjoyed the video, feel free to give a like and a subscribe too. It really does help out the channel. I also link down below all my other social medias. You can find me on TikTok and Instagram, and I'm also on Ko-fi. My Ko-fi shop is also linked down below, where I sell art prints, bookmarks, stickers and different paintings now and then when I get some on. I've got one in the making at the moment, and I've got a couple canvases drying as well, so hopefully I'll have some more acrylic paintings coming out as well. And without further ado everyone, I hope you all have a lovely rest of your weekend, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.